Majora's Mask is a game about trauma, grief, friendship, and standing firm in the face of terrifying odds. With an atmosphere that's almost melancholy yet beautiful, tragic yet hopeful, Majora's Mask shows us how... Wait, what was that? Wait, what? What in the world? That's actually in the game? Oh yeah, there's some weird stuff going on here. People love to talk about how dark and deep Majora's Mask is. Don't get me wrong, it definitely is. There's a reason why people say it's structured around the 5 stages of grief. But what people don't talk about, or at least not as often, is just how bizarre this game can get. The weirdness in this game is so jarring at times, and it is absolutely perfect. And it got me thinking, I want to see more stuff like this in other stories. Obviously, it can't be exactly the same, but I want stories to get weirder. What do I mean by that? Well, multiple things. But let's start with... In the world of fantasy stories, games, movies, books, etc., I've noticed a recent trend of having really detailed world building. This includes a very detailed magic system. But I wonder if we're leaning too much in that direction. In some fantasy stories, the magic feels less like magic and more like a tool bag. The world feels less mystical and more factual. Everything has a purpose and a reason. Everything is explained. Majora's Mask is the opposite. Basically nothing is explained. You start the game by falling down a tree and somehow just ending up in Termina. The game doesn't even question it. And everything about the moon makes no sense. The moon literally can't fall from the sky, and if it were, it would be way, way bigger than that. But this doesn't throw us off. We don't stop playing because the moon falling is unrealistic. We don't stop playing because we don't know how Termina can be under a tree or whatever that was. Am I saying that magic systems should be thrown out the window, or that world building shouldn't be detailed and fleshed out? No, of course not. What I am saying is that there should be a balance. And to all the writers out there, me included, I think we ought to just relax. Not everything needs to be explained. Some things can just exist. Not everything needs an origin story. Sometimes it's better to leave the origin of that creepy face on the moon as a mystery. Sometimes it's better to let your audience fill in the blanks on how Link came to Termina, or even what Termina is. All of what I'm talking about here can be defined as soft world building, or a soft magic system. For magic specifically, some examples of softer systems are Lord of the Rings or Howl's Moving Castle. It's characterized as having undefined rules and a lack of limitations. On the other side of things, we have stories like Avatar: The Last Airbender or Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn or the Stormlight Archive. These magic systems have rules and clear limitations. Of course, it's not all black and white. In Avatar: Last Airbender, the rules are bent, literally, when Toph invents metal bending. These different systems are on a spectrum. Majora's Mask is definitely on the softer side, though there is some structure. For one thing, music has power. Different songs can do different things. But, largely, the magic in Majora's Mask isn't explained, nor does it have defined rules. The same thing goes for world building. We get history in the different regions, and there is some structure with the different fantasy races and such, but there are some big things that aren't explained. Take Ikana, for example. Or Ikana? Ikana? Whatever. We're told there was a war, and it's obvious this region has a bloody history, but we're not told the details. However, if you're making a fantasy story of your own, you need to be careful with what I'm saying here. Remember that there needs to be a balance. You can't have nothing explained, or else there's nothing for your audience to hold on to. For a game like Majora's Mask, if there was no structure whatsoever, we wouldn't have the system with the masks or any clear objectives. You can't cut corners. Many things still need to be explained, and they need to have some sort of purpose, just as the War of Ikana is the reason behind all of the stall child soldiers. But there can be some things in your world that are simply a part of it, like how the skeletons in Ikana are even able to exist in the first place. Have some fun with it. Don't be afraid to make things strange or bizarre. Make up some creatures or monsters just for the heck of it. You'll be surprised by how inspiration flows when you just let your brain run wild. Let's go back to just focusing on Majora's Mask, because there's something here I haven't really seen anyone talk about. And that's how the weirdness in this game makes the darker moments hit even harder. Or how weirdness heightens darkness. A lot of S's in that. Psst, hey, real quick. Are you subscribed? Totally fine if you're not, but if you want to get recommended more videos like this one, that's a great way to do it. And a great way to support me and this channel. Just a quick little reminder. Now, there's one moment I want to talk about here. It happens in the Great Bay. Upon entering this region, you'll find a Zora floating just offshore. This is Macau, and after pushing him to shore, he asks you if you'll listen to his final words. He's dying, and he knows it. This is it for him. Except, when you say you'll listen to him, he gets up, pulls this guitar out of nowhere, and starts jamming out. He tells us about what happened to him, how the lead singer had her eggs stolen by pirates, and how he was thrown out when he tried to retrieve them, all while going absolutely ballistic on that guitar. How are we supposed to take this seriously? A guy is giving us his last words before death, but it's just so weird. Why make this moment so goofy? When Macau is done, he collapses, and we use the Song of Healing on him. From there, we get a cutscene of him and the lead singer. Together, hand in hand, they return to their band. This scene, at least, is somber and bittersweet. We're seeing the spirit of Macau reunite with his friends. It's as if he's moving on to the next life. After that, we get the Zora mask, and Macau's spirit tells us to note down his final song on his grave. Then he starts jamming out again, and then we cut to Link bowing at his grave. What are we supposed to do with this scene? It goes from sad to goofy again, then back to sad. Was this Nintendo's attempt to make a guy's death more lighthearted for the kids playing? Well, whatever the intention, these funny parts of this scene, I think, only make the reality of it hit harder. It's like when you watch a kid's cartoon and the bad guy's plan is actually a lot darker than you realized as a kid. The darkness is tucked beneath the power of friendship and cool action sequences. The same thing is happening with this scene of Macau. This is a young man who tried to retrieve what are, essentially, his friend's children, only to fail. This is a young man who has given his final words to a complete stranger. A kid, of all things. That's dark. This goofy animation makes us forget that for a little bit, but afterwards, the reality of the situation comes flooding back. If Majora's Mask were made today, I think that scene with Macau would look different. It would play out like how we would expect. He stumbles to shore, weakly tells us about what happened, and then dies. None of that funny-looking guitar playing. That would be more conventional. That would make more sense. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I wonder, are writers too afraid to make their stories weird? Things that are absurd, bizarre, maybe even uncomfortable? What would happen if we turned conventional tropes or scenes on their head? In all honesty, I don't know, but it's worth trying out. So the next time you sit down to brainstorm, for a moment, forget all the rules. Want aliens to come steal your cows in your typical fantasy world? Well, there you go. Want a choir of frogs? That sounds great. Jot down any ideas you have, even if they sound stupid. Especially if they're weird. Maybe, just maybe, you'll stumble onto something brilliant along the way. Majora's Mask is a weird, dark game. It's a game about death and trauma. It's also a game with a milk bar. There is so much that's never explained in this game, but that has led to so many theories and widespread analysis. We can use this same principle, that is, having aspects unexplained, in our own stories. We can use that to make our worlds or magic systems feel more, well, magical. We can add an air of mystery that lets the audience fill in the blanks. That is a big reason why Majora's Mask is so beloved. It sticks in your brain long after you finish playing it. Especially the weird stuff. So let's try making our own stories weird. Let's try leaving blanks in our worlds, just little gaps. Let's try having the unexplained. Let's make moments that are absurd or even uncomfortable. Let's release our ideas and let them run wild. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty fun to me. Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe if you think I'm pretty swag. And a huge shout out to my very first patron, Pedro! Thank you so much for all your support. If you want to join this lovely fellow and get access to all of my video scripts, you can find my Patreon in the description. And with that, I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye!